if you don't see it when you take the picture, and you send me the picture with this object in it, and say, could it be a UFO? I have to say, well, I don't know, but probably not, because you specifically see the UFO yourself.
Now, hey, Bruce.
That happens with still photos and videos.
Now, hey, Bruce, we got to take a break for the radio stations, and then James has got his Earth news to do, so we got a break for about 6 minutes. So if you want to get a cup of tea, coffee, or whatever,
6 minutes. You said?
We'll be back in about 6.5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep, I'll be here.
Okay, so we'll be back with Bruce Maccabee. We'll be talking more about abductions, UFOs, and whatever he wants to talk about. We'll be back here in about 2.5 minutes, and then we'll have James giving us Earth news.
Night Dreams Talk Radio, After Dark, wants to give a big shout out to all the truckers that listen to our show. Night Dreams Talk Radio Network brings you the World Paranormal News with James Creechbaum. Now, the latest news.
I'm James Creechbaum, and here's some more paranormal and Earth news. Today, matter of fact, around 7 o'clock Eastern Time, an enormous asteroid measuring more than 2,000 feet wide is to whiz past our planet. Now, that is a very big asteroid, let me tell you. And it will also speed safely past Earth today at 17,800 miles per hour. The space rock dubbed 2006 SF6 will make its close approach around 7 o'clock, actually earlier today. And when it comes in, it's about 2.7 million miles from our planet. Now, that's about 11 times the Earth-Moon distance, according to NASA's Center for Near-Earth Object Studies. The space rock was first discovered on September 17th, 2006 by the Catalina Sky Survey. The astronomical project designed to look for asteroids and comets managed by scientists at the Stewart Observatory near Tucson, Arizona. Also in the news, along with the asteroid, red rain, unexplained blood rain or red rain, as the phenomenon is called. Also, it's a rarely occurring weather phenomenon, which falling rain can take on the appearance of blood. The majority of these events occur in Southeast Asia and have been documented in modern times since the 1800s. Recently, a series of colored rainfall occurred over Kerala in India during the summers of 2001, 06, 07, 08, and 2012. The recent rains, as those that occurred in the distant past, understandably were a source of fear and panic. Red rains of past time were often attributed to acts of gods or were thought to be supernatural omen of some doom to come. Now, in modern times, these same fears take on a modern themes. The first modern explanation is that the red rains are the result of dust suspended in the air by desert dust storms and then is washed from the sky by falling rain. It is the rainwater mixing with the suspended dust that causes the odd color rains that are witnessed. The second explanation suggests that the red rains are caused by volcanic eruptions expelling dust and ash into the air. This is similar to the dust storm explanation previously mentioned and only differs by what mechanism suspends the dust during the rainfall. The third and fourth explanations start to get a little strange. The third explanation states that red rains are caused by meteoric air burst that is believed to have occurred at the beginning of one of the events. This is based on eyewitness accounts that there was a flash of light and a loud boom before the rains began. Once again, the meteoric airburst in the mechanism that suspends the dust into the air, which is mixed with rainwater as it falls. The fourth explanation involves extraterrestrial life forms, not intelligent ones, but on a microscopic level. And when they hit it, they are red color, and that's their theory on that one. Again, these are just theories. There's been nothing proven. Now, a mysterious giant staircase has been discovered in Antarctica. There's a actual Google picture of it. It's pretty interesting. A mysterious pillars appeared in Antarctica due to the melting of glaciers, which immediately attracted the attention of scientists. It is worth noting that Antarctica remains the least studied continent to this day, because due to the huge amount of snow and ice, it is impossible to get some of it to its regions. Now, at the very beginning, these pillars were detected using satellite maps. Interestingly, the building is completely unlike the object of natural origin. Specialists from the Canadian Center for the Study of Antarctica are going to send an expedition to Antarctica, which will study the pillars found in satellite images. Some experts already put forward various kinds of hypotheses regarding the origin of these pillars. Most of them are inclined to believe that the staircase, along with the pillars, was created by human hands. Next news break, top of the hour.
Good evening, or morning, depending on your time zone. From the Pacific to the Atlantic to you worldwide. Get yourself a cup of Java and find a comfy, easy chair. And get ready for Gary and his guest on Night Dreams Talk Radio, After Dark. And now, here's Gary.
And here I am, and boy, did I just break a lamp. No, my swing, James, is getting better with that golf club you sent me. Every day I'm getting better. I can almost hit the ball.
You and that 9-iron I sent you, I'll tell you. I pity the mannequins you got there. You're bouncing them golf balls around in there.
Oh, yeah. I won't even tell you what happened. But anyway, Bruce, are you still with us?
I'm still with you.
Yeah. Abductions and UFO reports, I still, last time you were on the show, you were talking about how, with the Nimitz, these unidentified objects that the Navy was chasing after, and they got the videos of it. How could, if there is creatures inside of them, or humanoids in them, how would they survive? Because coming to a dead stop and then veering off at all these different directions at high speed, wouldn't they be nothing left of whatever's inside unless they have developed some type of technology where they're not subject to the G-force?
Well, I suppose you could argue AI, artificial intelligence, machine creatures or something like that can somehow withstand these huge accelerations. Hundreds of Gs, thousands of Gs, enough to turn a human being into a puzzle. How do they manage to do it? Well, like I said, it might be that there are no living creatures inside these things, living in the sense that we could consider living. But there's an alternative possibility which has been proposed, namely that you get field acceleration by warping the gravitational field, as opposed to what might be called point acceleration. If you suppose you have a car out of a railroad train, it's on tracks. You can barely push this railroad car. You start pushing harder and harder. What are you really doing? You're applying a force at one end of it, and this force is being transferred through the body of the thing to the front end. You're pushing at the back end, and you're making the front end move. And you have to utilize a certain amount of force to do that. Putting force on the back end causes a crunching effect because it takes a while for the motion to make it to the front. The speed of sound in this device itself is a limiting factor. But anyway, the harder you push, the more you squish it. The front doesn't accelerate at exactly the same speed and time as the back end. So a human being in a situation like that, you're sitting in a chair like in your car. You're sitting in a chair and you step on the gas. You feel yourself being accelerated. You feel a pressure on your back, and it goes through your body to your front, and pretty soon your whole body is moving at a high speed. But the harder that you push, the greater the force, the more you compress yourself. That's why we say that a few hundred G's is enough to turn somebody into a puddle. You just completely crush whatever it is as part of a normal human body. Now, a field acceleration would be where every point of a volume, field is a technical term, which means that in some space, X, Y, Z space, there is some quantity which has a value at each point in this space. And so, if you could somehow arrange to push all the points in the body at the same time and get them to move at the same time, then there would be no crunching force on the body itself. You'd have to somehow warp space, as it were, cause something unique to happen in order to be able to apply have your seat apply a big force on your back and have your front move at the same time. Your front is accelerated at the same time as your back, and all the points in between are being accelerated at the same time. This is a field acceleration as opposed to a point acceleration that I talked about first. So this field acceleration, if you could generate it, then whatever is the generator of the field, you make that accelerate, and you yourself stay fine. You hardly notice anything at all, but something behind you is being crushed as this big force is being applied to create an acceleration.
Interesting. Now, I got to ask you a question.
Well, let me just say field acceleration is something we're all familiar with. It's known as gravity.
Right.
Every point in your body is being pulled towards the center of the earth. Over a short distance, like a few feet, the gradient there is a gradient in the force. The closer you get to the center of the earth, the closer you get to the surface of the earth, if you come from a long distance away, coming from Saturn or something like that, and you're approaching the earth, you're accelerating and accelerating and accelerating, but you're in what's called free fall. You don't notice the force. You just notice you don't notice the slight squishing effect of having in this case it'd be a spherical force of gravity. If you had an extremely dense star or a black hole you're approaching, it gets to a situation where the gradient of gravitational force is large over a short distance, and that can stretch you. Part of you is closer to the center of the black hole than the back part. So the front part